Graham Potter on Tottenham star Dejan Kulusevski. James Maddison believes he should have been awarded a penalty, and he's come back on making his first competitive appearance in 12 months against Leeds United. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I will be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. My name is leader Dorset Spur, and if you are watching on YouTube, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. So, Sweden boss Graham Potter on Tottenham star Dejan Kullazeki and him being left out of the Sweden squad for the World Cup. With Dejan, again, just a very difficult decision. We have to think about what is right for the team. That's important, but also Dejan is in a place where he has had a long fight and he is making progress. It's important now that this time he can really focus on getting himself ready for the start of the season. Dejan is at a stage where his rehab is so important and he has made some progress. The aim for him would be to start next season with Tottenham, hit the ground running and to get back on the pitch and do the thing that he loves. We have to be careful about that, and ultimately that's the priority for him. Once those games start in the World Cup, you're not in an area where you can do big 11 versus 11 work. So it'd be very difficult for him to get up to where we need him to be. Sometimes you have to take a decision of what he does this look like. What is the impact for the player? What is the impact for the team? And it just felt in my stomach it was the right thing for us and for him. But of course, now it's tough to see that because he wants to be there and he wants to play. I understand. He is a professional person and he accepts it, of course. But it's also very difficult, as it is with all the boys. These things don't come along very often. It's a dream and you're ending a dream, which is not a nice thing, believe me. And it was also confirmed on Tuesday that Lucas Bergvall has been included in the Sweden's World Cup squad. Moving on, James Madison believes that he should have been awarded a penalty in the Tottenham versus Leeds game on Monday night. He wrote the following on his Instagram account. For clarity, the small, tiny touch of the ball to change direction came from the outside of my right foot, and I told the ref that. But the check was over in about 20 seconds. Officials are petrified to make decisions on the pitch now because of VAR. We keep fighting. Come on, you Spurs. James Madison on talking about his comeback and making his first competitive appearance in 12 months against Leeds United. In my head, it goes back to the Europa League semi-final here where I got injured because I did a partial ACL tear against Bodo Glimt. I was told by the external specialist it wouldn't need surgery and rehab. Then obviously it wasn't strong. It didn't recover properly and I needed the full surgery, which is what happened in South Korea. That being said, that was still an amazing moment which will live with me forever. That reception I got, there have been some dark days. And in the last year, especially since the surgery, it has been really tough year for me mentally. But I'm at the end of the tunnel now. And so I kind of look back at that with fondness because I am mentally strong as I can be after going through that. Physically, I feel really good. So the moment personally is something that will live with me forever. The reception Spurs fans gave me. It's been a tough season for Tottenham, really tough for the fans, really tough for the players, lots of managerial changes. It's been a season to forget, really. Not being able to affect it and help the club has been difficult. Once I was out there and the first 30 seconds to a minute had gone by, it was like Now I'm on the pitch. We need to get a winner here. The nice moment had gone. It was almost straight down to business. I'd rather be safe and come on and enjoy and build up slowly, but that's not the situation we're in. When you are on the pitch, you forget about anything else anyway, when that adrenaline kicks in. When you get your first touch, it's just another game, and I felt really good. And finally, the match officials have been confirmed for match week 37. Newcastle versus West Ham. Referee Gerard Gillett and VAR Craig Paulson. And Chelsea versus Tottenham. Referee Stuart Atwell and VAR John Brooks. So let's just quickly talk about Kulusevski. I think it's absolutely the right thing. It's a no-brainer, really. Kulusevski hasn't played a minute of football in just over a year now, and there is no way that he can prove that he is going to be able to do anything for his teammates. It makes no sense for him to go. They need to focus on themselves and take the best available squad they can. Of course, from a Tottenham point of view, it also gives him the whole summer to hopefully get finally fit to be able to start for Spurs for next season, as he's going to be super, super important, even if that is in the Championship. So it's, for me, again, it's a no-brainer. It makes absolutely common sense that he's not going to go there, and he can focus on his rehab. Still no clearer on when that is likely to be. Still no clearer on when he feels that he's going to get back to match fit. No, not match fitness as such, but being able to play or even train properly. I mean, even stepping back from playing, it's about when can he actually train fully with the squad. I mean, you consider that we've now seen Madison step onto the pitch, and yet Kulusevski is nowhere near even training. So, and of course, De Zerbi's no idea when he's likely to come back. I think he put something out recently where he said that he'd texted with him and he said he'll be back next week. Whether that's happened or not, I don't know. It would be a opportunity missed from the Spurs media people if they weren't going to milk that for as much as they can. So I would assume that he is still not back, and that back next week may mean next week, as in the week after, or whatever week that is. He didn't stipulate which week. He said it next week. So, yeah. So absolutely, I'm delighted that he's not going, if I'm honest, and I hope that this is going to give him the final amount of time to get back. If he's not back for next season, then for me, I think that's it, done. I don't think he's ever coming back to play football again. It just feels like that. And how crazy is that when you consider it was just a knock, in inverted commas, according to Big Ange and Spurs medical team. So, yeah. But the good news on the flip side of all of that is Lucas Bergvall has been invited to the squad for the World Cup, which is a massive thing for him. Great experience for such a young man. And deserved. He hasn't had oodles and oodles of football to play. So but he is a massive talent. So I can understand why they would want to take him for sure. Moving on to the James Maddison quotes. In terms of the penalty, again, I've watched it umpteen times from umpteen different angles, and there's one guy doing the rounds at the moment where it looks absolutely clear that Brighton, that the Leeds player didn't touch the ball. And even if he did touch the ball, he took James Maddison out to touch the ball. So for me, it's 100% a penalty. And I don't care what you say. You can argue with me all day long, but for me, it's a penalty. And I think the referee and the VAR people bottled it there. And we can go on and talk about conspiracy theories as much as you like, and my views on that. But it just really does feel like everything's pushing towards a final day drama fest for Sky Sports and all the media outlets and everything else, it feels like it's building towards that between us and West Ham. So yeah, Madison could get himself in trouble with these comments, but then at the same time, he's just giving his opinion. I mean, he's not saying that they are incapable or anything like that. And I think it's ridiculous that people within the game can't share their frustrations. The cameras are in front of them straight away after games and all that kind of stuff as well. It's difficult to keep your emotions intact, especially when it comes to football. I don't know anything else that creates as much passion as football. So, for me, I just think it's, I agree with him. I think he's entitled to say it. Interesting, the comments about his comeback. Great to know that he felt the love from the Tottenham fans, because it was very, very good. They really did put it out there, and standing ovations, singing his name and everything else. There was excitement building as soon as we saw him warming up and getting called back. So we were hoping it was coming, but we never knew that it was going to be. And it did, and that was fantastic. Interesting comments about a partial ACL tear and all that just basically went in South Korea. Difficult time for him, I'm sure. We could talk about how he's getting paid. He's on sick pay, and it's hundreds of thousands of pounds and blah blah blah. But these are young guys with a short period in which to get as much out of it. Forget financially, because these guys have already made plenty of money before they've even hit the top. So this is their opportunity to play for their country, win trophies, compete at the top, really create those memories, because life is just about memories, right? At the time when they can. So I absolutely feel for him how difficult it must be. And especially when you consider players like Kulusevski. I mean, how does he get in through that? Or when we used to say about loads of other players, Mo Kudus, how's he getting on? How is it affecting his mental health and so on? Bentancur, it's always been a really difficult thing. So fair play. And like I say, I'm so glad that he got the reception he got from that. And of course, the final bit is just about the match officials for Newcastle versus West Ham is probably the bigger one for me. When you think about Gerard Gillett and Craig Paulson doing exactly the same jobs that they did against Tottenham against Leeds, and it will be so interesting. So yeah, we're going to scrutinise every decision they make, aren't we? Absolutely, because if West Ham get a penalty at the final minute in exactly the same way, in a similar fashion, then the question has got to be asked: are they going to bottle it and not give it because it's going to be a consistency issue? So again, I just mentioned the conspiracy. We could probably talk about it all day long. But the reality is referees, whether they're on VAR, whether they're fourth official, whatever, they are not consistent. They are not consistent enough at all. So much goes on that you think to yourself, how is that? And I guess all fans of all teams will probably pick out similar different scenarios where it's not gone for them and all the rest of it, and it's supposed to just balance itself out over the course of a season. Well, I don't think that's balanced out for us in the course of this season. I think it's absolutely terrible. The fact that they took, like, literally, you could change an F1 car tire in more time than it took for them to look at James Maddison's penalty appeal. And yet the one where for Matisse Tell, it felt like an eternity when we were sat in the stadium waiting for it to come. So the inconsistencies are just killing the game. VAR is not a problem. Referees and consistency in referees is the problem. And until you get better referees that clearly know what to do and can be consistent in their application across the board, then we're going to have these conspiracy theories and all the rest of it. I mean, make no mistake, Tottenham Hotspur going down is the biggest thing that will happen in the Premier League since Leicester won the title. No other team, no other massive team has gone down in the same, where the furore has been the same. Let's face it, Aston Villa, massive team. There was no big deal about them going down. They went down. It was like, oh, okay, Aston Villa going down. Yeah, they've had a terrible season. West Ham have been down multiple times. You know, these are Premier League teams. Just as an example, if you look at Everton, Everton have been in the Premier League the whole time, never been relegated, and they have flirted with it so much. They flirted with it so much up until this season, where they're flying in comparison to where they've been in the past. They have always been on the brink, in between kind of the Moyes timelines, and there's never been as much interest or so much build up to the fact that they might get relegated as opposed to what's happening to Tottenham at this moment in time. So yeah, I do think it's a massive issue, and I personally think it's all geared up to, the last day drama that's kind of suits the Premier League and suits all the media outlets and Sky TV and Match of the Day and everybody else who are absolutely loving it. But we'll see what happens. But I'm sure that we'll be looking at the performances of Gerard Gillett and Craig Pawson, as much as Stuart Atwell and John Brooks, who probably haven't done us many favours either. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe. If you're listening on audio platform, please follow and leave a review if you can. I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.